In life, everyone encounters people who seem to be sent to test your values. Their speech, behavior, and sometimes even their silence openly carry disrespect. There are moments when anger rises inside you, and you want to respond or put them in their place. But don't forget one truth: how people treat you does not define who you are. Sometimes the person in front of you will resort to all sorts of games to lower your level. If you give in to your emotions, you will be giving them what they want. But when you maintain your calm, you keep control of the situation in your own hands. Because not losing control in the face of disrespect not only shows the strength of your character, but also unsettles the other person. Why are we talking about this? Because disrespect can appear not only at work, in the family, or among friends, but in every area of life. And if we don't learn to manage it, not only will our relationships suffer, but our self-respect will also be damaged. Now, let me explain to you step by step how to deal with people who don't respect you, with 7 effective methods. These methods may seem simple, but rest assured, when you apply them in your life, you will see a significant change in how people treat you. If you like the topic of this video, liking and sharing it is not just support, it's also a way to help others benefit. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because every video here is created to teach you how to stay stronger, calmer, and more valuable in life. So first, I want to talk about the first method: responding to situations with calmness. When you face disrespect, our first instinct is often to respond immediately. Someone speaks rudely, looks at you sarcastically, or openly insults you. Your brain automatically sends a defend yourself signal. This usually shows up as raising your voice, saying harsh words, or making angry gestures. But here's a subtle truth: if the person in front of you can force you to lose your emotions, it means the control is no longer with them, it's with you. When you stay calm, you change the situation fundamentally, because calmness is not just silence, it's a symbol of inner control. At that moment, you send a message: your words cannot shake me because I'm in control of myself. Imagine this: you are in a room and the person opposite you is shouting. Their voice rises, their body language is aggressive, their eyes are burning with anger. If you respond in the same tone, now both of you are in an emotional explosion where nobody wins. But when you stay calm, it unbalances the situation. The other person doesn't get the reaction they expect, and their behavior starts to seem more absurd even to themselves. Sometimes people provoke just to get a reaction. This can happen at work, a colleague testing your patience; at home, a relative constantly making remarks; even on the street, someone deliberately rude. In all these cases, staying calm means being like a wall that doesn't catch fire. They throw fire at you, but you don't ignite. Another power of calmness is that it gives you time to think. People often speak without thinking in emotional moments and later regret it. But when you stay calm, your brain has time to analyze the event. You ask yourself, should I respond to this person? Or will staying silent say more? The choice is yours, and calmness gives you the opportunity to make that choice. Sometimes silence can be a response far more powerful than any words. Because words are forgotten, but the energy felt remains. Your calmness makes the other person wonder, why did this happen? Psychologically, this puts them in a weaker position because they realize they no longer control your reaction. Inner calmness is also a sign of self-respect. You are saying, I will not lower my level. This benefits you not only when facing disrespect, but in every area of life. Because the ability to stay calm is a habit, and over time it influences all your relationships. But here's an important nuance: staying calm does not mean feeling nothing or swallowing everything. It simply means delaying your reaction and responding more wisely. Sometimes, after staying calm, you can set your boundaries clearly, calmly, and at the right time. In this way, you protect your position without having an emotional outburst. Remember, even if the other person interprets your calmness as weakness, in reality, it is your greatest strength. Because everyone can lose their patience, but very few can fully control their emotions. And this is what sets you apart from others. Calmness is sometimes the strongest response. It shows your power without shouting. When the other person sees they cannot control you, they either change or walk away. In both cases, you win. The second method is that you must always set your boundaries in relationships, because boundaries are one of the most important topics in human relations. Boundaries mean not only physical distance, but also psychological and emotional space. It means saying, I am here, and I do not allow you to cross this line. And if you don't clearly define these boundaries, people will violate them as they please. When you remain silent in the face of disrespect, you often send the message, this behavior is acceptable. This does not mean you should argue about every word or gesture, but sometimes you need to say clearly and calmly, I do not accept this behavior. Because if you don't say it, that person will assume it doesn't matter to you. Sometimes people cross boundaries deliberately, sometimes unconsciously. For example, a colleague at work speaks to you disrespectfully, or a family member constantly interferes in your private life. If you don't openly say no, this behavior will repeat. But when you set a boundary, you both show respect for yourself and teach the other person how to behave. There is an important point here. Setting boundaries does not mean being aggressive. You don't need to shout, insult, or be rude to protect your boundaries. On the contrary, the most effective boundaries are those expressed calmly but firmly. For example, I don't want you to speak to me in that tone. This topic is personal. I don't want to discuss it. That joke is not appropriate for me. Boundaries also mean protecting your values. If a person does not stand up for their values, others will shape their life as they wish. It's like leaving your house door open. Anyone can come in, but when you close and lock the door, you decide who enters and who doesn't. Remember, setting boundaries is never a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it is the clearest sign of strength, self-respect, and owning your identity. Because setting a boundary means saying, I have value and I protect it. Yes, sometimes the people you set boundaries with will be hurt or even distance themselves. But this is not a bad thing, because having people in your life who do not respect your values and boundaries will cause you long-term harm. Boundaries keep around only those who truly respect you. The third method is this. Never lower your level because of people who don't respect you. It's obvious. Often when you see disrespect, you immediately feel the urge to respond. If someone says rude words to you, you want to answer more harshly. If they laugh sarcastically, you want to return twice the sarcasm. Because our brain often switches to the I'll show you mode. But here lies a danger, falling into their game. Every time you respond to insults, sarcasm, or mockery the same way, you become part of their game. It's like being pulled into the mud. The more you respond, the dirtier you get. Moreover, outsiders no longer see who is right or wrong. They just see two people fighting on the same low level. Remember, you set the level. The other person's behavior, speech, or style does not define your character. True power is maintaining your own standards and not lowering yourself to others' level. Staying high is not about being proud. It's simply about staying true to your values. Imagine someone insults you on the street. If you respond in the same way, from the outside you both look the same. But if you remain calm and composed, it becomes very clear who is at which level. It's the same at work. Sometimes a colleague uses sarcastic remarks just to irritate you. If you respond in the same tone, they will achieve their goal, pulling you down to their level. But if you smile, calmly change the subject, or simply don't react, they won't get what they want anymore. Not lowering yourself to the other person's level is also a matter of inner strength, because maintaining your level sometimes requires great patience and sometimes the ability to let go. This skill develops over time. Most importantly, keeping your level earns you long-term respect. People know that you behave with composure, manners, and politeness, and that you don't abandon your principles no matter the situation. This gives you an advantage both in relationships and in life. Staying true to your values is the fourth method used by Stoics. Our values are our internal compass. They teach us to distinguish right from wrong and respect from disrespect. For example, if honesty, patience, and respect are important to you. You should never stray from these principles, even if someone disrespects you. Sometimes others' behavior, words, or gestures may push you to stray from your values, to feel anger or resentment. But remember, a person's true level is not measured by their behavior, but by their commitment to their values. For instance, a colleague at work mocks you, or someone in your family misunderstands you. It's easy to get angry or retaliate, but if sincerity and respect matter most to you, it's more important to be patient. Stay calm and hold on to your principles. Being loyal to your values also shows self-respect and self-confidence. You must know that no matter how much others test you, your core identity is measured by your fidelity to your principles. It's also about setting an example for others. As people see your steady behavior and principled stance, they will respect you more. Staying true to your values can sometimes be difficult. Anger or hurt feelings may be strong, but what matters is recognizing, understanding, and managing those feelings without acting against your values. The fifth method is to maintain distance. Sometimes the best and healthiest approach in relationships is simply to create distance. Disrespect, repeatedly negative behavior, or relationships filled with bad energy can harm you over time. In such cases, keeping distance, drawing a physical or emotional boundary to protect yourself is necessary. Maintaining distance does not mean you have to be cold or rude. On the contrary, it is the healthiest way to protect your energy and inner peace. Distance can be physical or emotional. Physical distance may mean reducing meetings or changing places you frequently visit. Emotional distance is subtler, not sharing your feelings with certain people and not mixing yourself with the negative energy they bring. Keeping distance also means respecting yourself and your values, because you know who and how much influence should have on your life. You have the right to create the best environment for yourself. This also shows your strength. Sometimes the greatest power is not in drawing closer, but in stepping away. It is the way to live without exhausting yourself or wasting your energy on things that don't deserve it. The sixth method is defining your own worth by yourself. Sometimes people evaluate themselves based on others' opinions. When searching for answers to who am I or how valuable am I, they look at what those around them say and how they behave. But don't forget, your true value is determined by you, not by others. Even if others treat you disrespectfully or try to diminish you, that only reflects their perspective. How they see you does not make you who you are. Your inner worth, skills, achievements, and the qualities that make you, you do not depend on them. To recognize your own value, you must first be honest with yourself. Carefully assess your strengths and weaknesses, your past successes, and the lessons you have learned. Love and accept yourself, including your mistakes and shortcomings. This forms the foundation of self-respect. Disrespect you face in life does not reflect your worth. It merely mirrors the other person's inner problems. Someone trying to bring you down comes from their own insecurities or ego. Defining your own worth also means setting boundaries. It means being able to say, I do not accept this, I know my value. This mindset protects you and shows others how to treat you. A person who knows their worth gets angry less often and feels hurt less, because they understand their value doesn't depend on others' behavior. It also brings inner peace because you trust yourself and don't sacrifice yourself for others' opinions. Sometimes there are people in our lives who harm us by being disrespectful, putting us down or draining our energy. In such situations, one of the hardest but most right decisions is to know when to walk away. This is the seventh method you can use against those who disrespect you. Leaving, refusing, or distancing yourself is not scary. On the contrary, it is a sign of self-respect and inner strength. Sometimes continuing a relationship only tires you more and drains your value and energy. There are people whom removing from your life may be the best decision for you. This decision might not be easy because sometimes parting from family, friends, or co-workers feels heavy. But remember, this is about prioritizing yourself and your inner peace. Loving and protecting yourself is more important than holding on to certain ties. Knowing when to walk away is also the final step in protecting your boundaries. You have tried with all your strength to stay calm, set boundaries, and keep your level high. But if the other person doesn't change, you must let them go without destroying yourself. Be gentle with yourself during this process. Separation can sometimes mean a new beginning, making space for new people and fresh energy. Remember, walking away is not turning back. It is stepping toward a better future for yourself. So facing disrespect is part of life, but real power lies in how you manage it. Keeping your calm, defining your boundaries, and not lowering your level strengthen you from within and increase others. Respect for you. Never forget, the most precious value is your self-respect. If this video was helpful to you, don't forget to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. That way, we can continue watching content together that will help improve your life. See you in the next video.